Welcome back to another edition of the Educational AD Podcast. We couldn't do this without the incredible support of our sponsors, and we want to start by saying thank you to all of them. First, thanks to our diamond sponsor, Varsity Brands, including BSN, Varsity Spirit, and Herff Jones. Varsity Brands, elevating student experiences in sport, spirit, and achievement. We also want to thank our platinum sponsors, Ephesus Lighting, innovating a brighter future at every level. Gilman Gear, always a step ahead. Camp Mobile, where teams communicate better. Hometown Ticketing, simple and easy online ticketing. And Vital Signs, bring student achievements to life. Thanks to all of our great sponsors.
I got that job and I got a taste of what it was to be an athletic director. At the same time, I was coaching at the high school I graduated with in football and hockey, and then moved to Florida, got out of teaching, went to work for the Defense Department for 12 years. Not my first love. I miss the kids, I miss the coaching, and I miss the successes that you see with children in athletics. So I got back into it, coached football at New Smyrna Beach High School for a few years and got the opportunity to become the athletic director. During that summer, I was asked to move to a new school called Pine Ridge High School in Deltona. I was an athletic director there for 12 years and saw the opportunity to open a brand new school in Port St. Lucie, Treasure Coast High School. And what an opportunity that was to open a brand new school. It was just a great experience. And I spent the last 13 years at Treasure Coast High School as their athletic director.
Well, that's, again, I'm familiar with a little bit of that story, but I always love to tell the story that you were my key to getting involved with FIAAA. I took that very first LTC course during a FHSA compliance seminar, and I think that was about the time you had just started there at Treasure Coast. So, it was great to get to know you and get involved in the organization. Talk a little bit about some of the challenges and some of the excitement about opening up a brand new school.
Well, fortunately, you almost have an unlimited budget, which is great. Never seen that before. But opening up a new school, you have to think of all the little things, the details of every single aspect of what those athletes and coaches are going to need. It's mind-boggling. I had a good friend of mine from, I think he still works in the business, but he put together Frank Sloan. I'm not sure if you know Frank Sloan. He's in the Orlando area. But he put together a booklet of exactly what I would need to start a program, and he put every sport together. He works for BSN Sports now, and he just did a great job. And that I still have that folder because it tells you everything you need, from practice gear to socks to shoes to equipment, for every sport that we had at Treasure Coast, and that was a big help. The school wasn't built when I got there, so I had a year without being in a classroom or in a school. So we were able to design what we wanted as far as fields and gyms and things like that goes.
Wow, what a great opportunity to do that. Dan, in our profession, we always talk about the importance of leadership, and this will certainly ring true for you, mentoring. Who were some of your mentors, either growing up as a student athlete or people that you worked for or worked with in your career? Whose voice did you hear in your head when you went out to work each day?
Well, there was a number of people. I always say I don't remember who my math coaches were, but I know who my math teachers were, but I certainly know who my coaches were. They were an inspiration. My dad was certainly an inspiration, my parents. We had fortunate enough to have some NFL players coaching at my high school, and mom and dad didn't want me. They were okay with me playing hockey, but they didn't want me playing football. I'm not sure where that came from, but
that would be an
I
interesting
had some
discussion.
inspirational people who really turned it on, and John Moranto from Mainland High School was a huge influence for me when I started coaching football down here in Florida. He was the one that suggested I become an athletic director. My principals, Helen Wild, Kevin Tucker, those people were an inspiration to me as I went and grew in this career.
And it's always great to hear about those people that influenced one of my mentors. Dan, you've been involved in the profession for a long time, and you've had a chance to see it unfold at established programs. You helped start a new program. I'm always curious, how have you seen the day-to-day job of an athletic director change over the years? What's different? What's still the same?
Wow. When I first started, we did our eligibility on a handwritten form and mailed it into the FHSAA. And hopefully it got there in time for those kids to be able to play. Technology has changed the game completely over the past 25 years. It truly has. And people talk about the glitches and this and that, but it has made it better and more efficient. I truly believe that. Yes, we still have paperwork. Everybody wanted to go to paperless. We still have paper, but the technology and what you can save in a computer and be able to retrieve is just unbelievable. And this new thing with the pandemic and bringing into Zoom just brings it to another level. Whether it's good or bad right now, we don't know where we're going with this. It's a day-to-day thing, but technology has certainly changed it around. I think the coaches have changed a little bit because of society. We're in a logistics society where, you have to do the right things. And that's where the LTI courses come in. I enjoy teaching the legal aspects of athletics, because what you want to do as an athletic director is keep the bad things off your principal's desk. And in order to do that, you have to know what's coming up and be proactive towards what is out there. What is, 25 years ago, we didn't have phones in every locker room and cameras in every locker room. We didn't have the cyber bullying that we have today. Those things have changed how we have to deal with kids and coaches.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You mentioned LTI classes and the NIAAA. I always like to have our guests tell their story of how they got involved, first maybe at the state level and then at the national level through certification. So go ahead and tell your story of athletic director, courses, CAA, and then finally CMAA.
Well, when I became an athletic director, it was very short-lived. It was like 5 months at New Smyrna Beach High School, and then I got over to Pine Ridge High School. I was new, and I had a mentor, Danny Einstein, who started working with me, and he says, you need to join these groups because they are going to help you. And once I got involved with the FIAAA, I went to the conferences, and I've gone to every national conference and every state conference. I've missed one in 25 years on a year that my wife passed. But you learn so much when you go to those conferences. And when I went to the FIAAA conference, I wanted to be part of it a little bit more. So I asked to be on the board, won the election, and I haven't left yet. But it's a passion. I can't explain it. It's a passion to be the best. And, as coaches, that's what we strive to do. We strive to make our kids the best. We want our program the best. Well, in this profession, we all want to be the best at what we do. The LTI courses helped me so much in being proactive in stopping situations from happening, whether it be, hazing or supervision. Those are the things coaches need to know. And I love passing that down to the coaches. You can't leave kids alone in the cafeteria for 30 minutes. Something's going to go wrong. So I got involved with that, and then Ron Balaz was instrumental in getting me to the national level and working with the national level with the certification committee for probably 3 or 4 years, which I really enjoyed. The knowledge that you get, if you want to make this a profession, the knowledge you get at the conferences, both local or state and national, is immeasurable.
I didn't know that you were on the certification committee at one time, so that's good to know.
I was back in the day.
Yeah, I'm rolling off in December. I've been on. I was fortunate to ask to be a co-chair, and so gosh, I think it's been about 8 years now. But that's very cool. Yeah. We'll have to get another Florida person on there. Dan, in Florida and even nationwide, you've got a reputation as kind of the guru of mentoring. Talk a little bit about, why that's such a passion for you, and talk about some of the things that you have developed here in the state of Florida as far as mentoring that next generation.
Well, Florida is very diverse, as you know. We have the Miami and we have the Panhandle, and it's apples and oranges when you look at it. So what I've tried to do, well, the history of the mentoring program, in 2011, the FHSAA came to us and said, look, we have a third of our ADs are just dropping out, and we've got to stop that. We have to be more consistent. Can you put together a program? We floundered for a couple of years, and then I asked to help out with it, and it came up with a kind of a comprehensive program that hopefully will help everybody that is in need. The FHSAA tries to send me as many names as they can of new ADs that they know about. There are so many new charter schools, so many new private schools. It's very difficult to keep up when you have over 800 public schools. And when an athletic director contacts me, I try to contact them not by email, but by voice, and try to explain to them, let's break this down. You have 4 groups that you need to deal with. The National Federation, which you have the NFHS for your classes, and you have the NIAAA organization also for your, to make sure you get your classes in, your LTIs. You have your state organization. For us, it's the FHSAA. You have your district, and you have your school-based rules and regulations from your principal. So those are the 4 areas you have to concentrate on. Keep those areas clean, stay on your deadlines. The FIAAA, I try to explain, is a organization of resources. You have your conference, you have people you can call. Once I establish what type of school they are, whether it be a small school or big school, I usually contact, and it's so diverse. If a district has a county AD, I'll include them. If they don't, I'll try to get an administrator or principal, but I always contact the district director of that area and say, we have a school, you have a person who's looking for help. Can you match them up with a veteran AD in a school basically the same size, maybe kind of close? And hopefully that starts the conversation. I've tried to tell the mentors that call them on Monday morning. Monday mornings are usually pretty quiet, but you can go over your transportation, all these small things that the week is going to look at. Transportation, officials, workers, all those things. Talk about those things. I did it with some ADs, and it helped me get the week ready for myself so that, I didn't forget anything. And you talk about the week. You make sure your coaches know what time the game is. Make sure your home and aways are corresponding with the other schools. That's happened. And that happened to me. I sent a boys team to a girls game, and the girls came to my school. You know, you've got to stay on top of those little things, because it's an embarrassment to you when it doesn't work out. So talk about the little things, and then talk about the deadlines. I told ADs need to know, they need to look at that FHSAA.com, the new one, for deadlines and home campus. You know, I am retired, but I'm still on home campus. I still have the feed there. I still get the FHSAA blast. I'm trying to stay on top of things. It's a little more difficult, but I have a little bit more time on my hands too. And I can travel to schools. You know, there's some schools around here with new ADs that I've visited, and we've sat down and chatted. So the mentoring program, I think it's is a good plan, and I'm hoping when I leave a person, or when a mentor works them, they are more encouraged. They don't have to reinvent the wheel. We always talk about the conference and the LTI. I'm telling you, the LTI courses help.
No, again, that's a great picture of how that mentoring program has taken shape here in Florida. And as you know, I've sent a number of people from different states who've contacted me about mentoring. I said, hey, you need to talk to Dan. And they've gotten back to me saying, what a pleasure it was talking with you. So we appreciate you sharing that across the country as well. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about COVID. Certainly it's made its impact across the country and in Florida. We've seen a variety of responses from states. Some states have completely switched their seasons around. Other states it's business as usual. We're playing, and that's what we're doing. And we've seen what's happened in Florida. We put the brakes on for about a month, and now various parts of the states are regrouping. I'm curious, and again, for disclaimer, we're recording this interview in early September, so by the time it airs, things might have changed a little bit. But right now, what's happening with the schools in your area as far as, are they coming back to school, and what's happening with sports?
Well, the schools themselves have three options. They can go a year offline, online at home. They can go online for a semester and come back, but they had to say that, or they can go to school. We have the schools open. For as far as athletics goes, the St. Lucie County, Indian River, the Treasure Coast area, we are all in practice. St. Lucie County football is allowing 15% of the total capacity of the stadiums buy tickets. Inside for like volleyball, 8% can enter the gym. Once that's done, then the doors are shut. That's St. Lucie County. I think Indian River County, where I'm at in Vero now, is basically the same thing. The Treasure Coast, Treasure Lakes Conference, which was 4 county-wide, we disbanded that about 2008 when the financial, when they took the financial hit educational-wise. We brought it back because we can now play local teams. And it's a whole lot easier for us to play local teams than to go to Daytona and play Mainland or something like that. So we're playing local. Treasure Coast High School has a 7-game schedule, all local teams, and going day by day. We had Vero Beach High School on the news the other day. They had to stop practice because they've got a kid down, and it's a day by day thing, and it's sad, but this has never happened before, and you just got to walk through it.
Oh, absolutely.
And I did talk to some people in Pasco. I talked to some ADs yesterday in Pasco County, and basically they're doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's a learning experience for all of us, and as you've mentioned, it's different in different parts of the state. Up in my area in the Panhandle, it's sort of kind of business as usual, but we've hit some speed bumps ourselves. And the folks down in South Florida, Miami-Dade, Broward County, they're still, struggling to get back at all. So it's
Yes.
going to be
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting to see how it all unfolds. Going back to your time as an in-school athletic director, I'm always curious, what were some of the things that you felt that your team, your coaches did particularly well, and maybe what was an idea or a new twist that you brought that you're particularly proud of?
Well, high school is an educational institution, and I wanted to bring that as my, I guess, speech. Every time I met with parents, I talked about sports, yes, but I always expressed that if they don't have a 2.0, they're going to buy a ticket to the game. They're not going to play. And I think the coaches caught on with that, and they marketed that, and I had every single coach was doing, plans to make sure that their kids, a study hall every day. Our football team was in the cafeteria from 2 to 3. We had a lot of outside coaches. They couldn't get there till late. Instead of going to the weight room, instead of doing conditioning, they were in the cafeteria, and there was serious studying going on. It wasn't they didn't play, which was good, and we were fortunate to get some kids that were on the fence over the fence in the right direction. So I think education was the big thing, and we made a big deal out of signing days, because you look at an athlete, they're an athlete, but they did the right things in the classroom to get to the point to be able to sign on signing day. And I thought that was very important. Again, it's an educational institution. It's a privilege to play athletics.
Looking back, I'm sure you can remember several, success stories. Go ahead and share one of a student athlete that really met the challenge and succeeded at a high level.
Wow, I'm glad you mentioned that. I had a wrestler. He was a junior, as lazy as could be in the classroom, and he was a great wrestler. He had a rough home life, and my secretary, Terry Elias, and I kind of took him under our wing. He came to us at the middle of his junior year, and he was going below a 2.0. And I said, Theo, if you go below a 2, I won't even let you into the gym to watch wrestling. You have got to bring that up. He had one test to take. And at the end of that year, he made it. He came to my office. He didn't know it. He came to my office, and I said, Theo, you need to sit down. I have your GPA. And he sat, and I said, you got a 2.00. And he started to cry. Worked like crazy in the wrestling room. Didn't work at all in the classroom, but he did pull it out. He went on to his senior year, and he was a state finalist, lost in the finals. And that, I thought, well, we'll never see him again. It was the end of the school year. He had graduated. He came in August to us, just before school started. And he had been accepted to a college to wrestle in Iowa. And I think that was probably, and then I got a t-shirt that said, Wrestler Dad from him a few months later. So that was a challenge. It was a kid that could have gone the wrong way, but he made it big, and he's still living in Iowa. So he did well. He did well. And, you know, I'm not going to take credit for it. He's the one that made the decision to go the right road.
Oh, well, what a great story. Thanks. Thanks for sharing that. Well, Dan, this has just flown by. I've really enjoyed, you know, visiting with you, but we're not quite done. We always like to wrap up with what we call the athletic director's toolbox. Now, you're a highly successful, you know, experienced athletic director, but your job right now is to send out a brand new AD on their very first job. But I'm only going to let you put 3 items in their toolbox. And this is probably going to be the toughest, toughest question for you. Only 3. So what 3 things are going to go in Dan Comeau's athletic director toolbox?
Well, the first thing I'd say, but it's probably not the right thing to say, is the beer. But
that could be item number 4.
Yeah, I would say some type of organizer, whether it be on the wall, on your office, on your computer, but somewhere, if there's going to be a change made, make it and make sure everybody knows about it. Some type of planner. The second thing, know your coaches. Know who you can trust. I should say this, trust but verify. Trust but verify. And the third thing is stay in tune with your athletes, because you're going to be somebody's best friend someday.
Wow. Great advice. Thanks so much for sharing, including item number 4. Okay. Well, Dan, again, always a pleasure to catch up with you. We'll see each other in actually about a couple weeks at our September Board of Directors meeting.
Yes.
But,
yep.
Stay healthy, my friend. And again, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Jake.
To our listeners, thanks as always for tuning in. Come back again next time for another episode of the Educational AD. Thanks again for listening to the Educational AD podcast. Remember, these are also posted on YouTube under the FIAAA Educational AD podcast site. Thanks for listening.